There are moments in life when you feel like you've tried hard enough, but still aren't getting anywhere. You look around and see others succeeding, stable and happy, while you're struggling step by step with yourself. Doubt creeps in. Can I really do this? You want to give up. You're tired of trying. You feel like there's nothing left to believe in. But pause for a moment and look within. If you're still seeking solutions, still listening to reminders of resilience, still watching this video and sitting here, one thing is certain: you haven't given up. And as long as you haven't given up, you're stronger than you realize. You may not see it now, but I promise, by the end of this video, you'll understand that you're not weak, not a failure, not worthless. You're in the midst of a process, and you will triumph. Triumph here isn't about outdoing others, amassing wealth, fame, or a perfect image. It's about not letting negative emotions defeat you. It's about not drifting aimlessly through life. It's about holding on to reason amidst chaos. That's the Stoic spirit, living not for ease, but to grow stronger daily. In this journey, you'll be guided through 8 key lessons, each a foundation to help you master yourself, overcome challenges, and build a resilient life from within. The best part? You don't need to change the world, just change yourself a little each day. Lesson 1: victory is not defeating others, but mastering yourself. For many, victory means outshining others, achieving what most can't, owning more, moving faster, excelling, or standing out. The modern world paints success as a dazzling statue. The winner has wealth, connections, and admiration. But if you step away from social media, sit with yourself and look inward, you'll see something different. Some who win outwardly fail miserably within. They can't sleep soundly, live authentically, or find peace despite all eyes on them. That's because they haven't mastered themselves. And in Stoic philosophy, that's the greatest defeat. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The one who conquers themselves is the bravest." Mastering yourself sounds simple, but is one of the hardest, longest journeys. It requires knowing who you are, what makes you vulnerable, what triggers your anger, what leads you astray. You can't control what you don't understand, and you can't steer your life if your emotions, thoughts, and actions are dictated by circumstances. Mastering yourself doesn't mean never feeling sad, tired, or wrong. It means recognizing these states, accepting their presence, but not letting them rule you. You're sad, yet you remain kind. You're tired, but you don't quit. You're wrong, but you correct yourself without blaming others. This is a quiet but powerful victory. Today, many can't handle criticism, are hurt by trivialities, need inspiration to act, or react impulsively when things don't go their way. They live like a switch flipped on and off by the external world. They think victory lies in changing others or gaining universal approval. But those are beyond your control. You can't stop others from judging or prevent unexpected events. You can only choose your response. When you respond rationally, calmly, and in line with your values, you reclaim control. You win. Imagine walking down the street and someone yells something offensive. You could snap back, argue, or even fight. That's instinct. But if you pause, breathe, remind yourself that emotions don't own you, that the other person is just external noise, and that calm is strength, you've won. No one sees it. No one claps. But your brain, spirit, and dignity know you've surpassed yourself. Stoicism doesn't demand emotional numbness. It teaches that emotions are natural, but actions are choices. Mastering yourself is a daily practice, choosing to get out of bed when the alarm rings despite wanting to linger, eating mindfully instead of indulging cravings, staying silent when angry, persisting through difficulty, and avoiding gossip when unsettled. These are silent victories without fanfare, but they form the foundation for lasting success. As you build self-mastery, your dopamine shifts. You no longer crave easy pleasures like scrolling phones, snacking, or empty praise. Dopamine comes from persistence, completing hard tasks, knowing you responded rightly, and small daily progress. This is true dopamine, the kind that builds you up, not just a temporary fix. You don't need to outdo anyone, just be better than yesterday's you. Imagine if each day you controlled one more emotion, reflex, or habit. After a year, you'd be transformed. Not because you tried to be someone else, but because you're becoming who you were meant to be. Rational, inwardly strong, and clear about your purpose. The greatest victory isn't in others' eyes. It's in the actions you choose when no one's watching, the moments you reject negativity, the times you pick principles over emotions. Each choice lays a brick in your life's foundation, building a fortress no external storm can destroy. Lesson 2. Everything external is beyond your control. One of the deepest roots of anxiety, anger, frustration, and exhaustion is our attempt to control what lies beyond our grasp. We want others to behave as we expect, events to unfold as planned, success to arrive on our schedule, and the world to bend to our will. When things don't align, we feel helpless, irritated, and self-critical. But Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, taught that the key to freedom lies in clearly distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. This is the first door to true peace. What's within your control? Your thoughts, actions, reactions, choices, attitude, and effort? What's beyond it? Others' feelings, outcomes of your actions, praise or criticism, luck or misfortune, and the unpredictable world outside. Trying to control what isn't yours strips away your power. Focusing on what you can master restores it. You can't stop the rain today, but you can carry an umbrella. You can't force a difficult colleague to change, but you can stay calm. You can't decide who loves you or leaves you, but you can choose how you love yourself and not let departures break you. Life isn't a stage where you direct every scene. It's a battlefield where you choose how to fight, not the outcome. Recognizing this doesn't make you indifferent or irresponsible. It makes you proactive. By stopping the waste of energy on the uncontrollable, you channel it into what you can influence. You stop complaining and start adjusting. Instead of lamenting a toxic environment, you build mental resilience to thrive in it. You stop waiting for others to change and become the first to transform. That's true maturity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Love the fate you're given." This doesn't mean passive acceptance, but embracing what you can't control with composure. When you accept life's unpredictability, you stop raging when things go awry. You're not crushed by setbacks because you don't expect to control everything, just to do your part well. Picture a ship sailing the sea. It can't command the wind, waves, or weather, but it can prepare its compass, check its sails, and hone its crew skills. A skilled captain doesn't calm the storm, but keeps balance within it. In life, you're that captain. You can't control the seas, but you can learn to steer yourself through rough waters. We live in an era obsessed with control, planning, goal setting, time management, optimizing performance. These aren't wrong, but without distinguishing what you can influence from what you must release, you'll feel like a failure, trapped in stress and despair. Ironically, letting go at the right moment often brings true freedom. Recall a recent time you were upset over something uncontrollable. Maybe gossip behind your back, a ruined plan, or an unexpected rejection. Emotions surge. You felt devalued, like everything was pointless. But if you'd paused and asked, "Can I control this?" things would shift. If the answer is no, anger is useless. If yes, anger is unnecessary. Just act. Mastering yourself means focusing on what's yours to control. This clarity shines brightest in adversity. Sudden blows come, a loved one's loss, a job gone, a door closed. You can complain, collapse, or accept it as part of life and ask, how will I respond? What can I learn? How can I move forward? That's the Stoic way. Not ignoring emotions, but upholding reason. Not inaction, but acting rightly. Not avoiding pain, but refusing to let it rule you. You may be betrayed, but you don't have to live in bitterness. You may fail, but you don't need to make it your identity. You may be rejected, but you can still keep going. When you truly embrace this lesson, you feel lighter, not because life is easier, but because you're no longer trying to master the unmasterable. In that rational release, you find the deepest peace, a quiet, enduring victory that's truly yours. Lesson 3. Pain is a teacher, not an enemy. No one escapes pain in life. No matter how strong, kind, or cautious you are, you'll face betrayal, loss, disappointment, or failure. Pain is an inevitable part of the human journey, but what matters isn't that pain happens, it's how you perceive it. Most of us are taught to avoid, fear, or erase pain as quickly as possible, viewing it as an enemy that disrupts stability and steals happiness. Stoics, however, see pain as a teacher, a strict but devoted one, offering lessons no classroom can provide. Seneca, a prominent Stoic, wrote, "A person too weak to bear pain has never truly lived. For him, suffering isn't something to dodge, but a tool to forge character, test integrity, and measure growth." Pain forces self-reflection. Losing something precious reveals what truly matters. Failure exposes illusions about your abilities. Betrayal deepens your understanding of trust and boundaries. These lessons, if only heard secondhand, lack depth, but experienced through raw emotion and hurt, they etch themselves into your mind permanently. The issue isn't pain itself, but your response to it. Viewing pain as an enemy traps you in victimhood, dwelling in resentment, sadness, or injustice. Seeing it as a teacher prompts questions. What can I learn here? Where am I stronger now? What must I change? You don't deny emotions, but you don't let them rule your life. You use pain as fuel to move forward, not a reason to stop. Stoics don't advocate fake toughness. If you lose a loved one, you're allowed to cry. If betrayed, you're allowed to hurt. But after the emotion, ask, how will I respond? Will this pain make me bitter or wiser? Will I close my heart or open it more maturely? This distinguishes a rational person from one consumed by feelings. Stoics often liken life to refining precious metal. Ordinary iron breaks under intense heat, but gold shines brighter when forged. Similarly, not everyone withstands trials, but those who do emerge stronger and clearer. Pain reveals who you are, what you lack, and where you need to grow to continue your path. Biologically, overcoming a major setback without collapsing reorganizes your brain's emotional system, enhancing psychological resilience and forming new neural pathways tied to perseverance. This is known as post-traumatic growth, a phenomenon modern psychologists confirm is real. By facing and learning from pain, you don't just recover, you can surpass who you were before the hurt. We can't demand a life of only pleasant moments. Without pain, you wouldn't cherish joy. Without loss, you wouldn't value what you have. Without failure, success would feel hollow. Pain not only fosters growth, but deepens and authenticates happiness. Crucially, it humbles you, reminding you of your limits, the unpredictability of life, and our shared fragility. If you're in pain, don't run from it. Sit with it, breathe deeply, and let it teach you. Write down what you feel. Ask, what am I avoiding that I must face? What's being tested in me? From this, what kind of person do I want to become? You'll be amazed that the answers come not from outside, but from within, awakened by the very pain you're enduring. Trust this, after pain, If you keep your heart open, you'll unlock a new depth to yourself. You'll judge less, boast less, rush less. You'll see true value in connections more clearly. And you'll no longer crumble over trivialities because you've risen from something far greater. Victory isn't being painless. It's not letting pain turn you into someone you don't want to be. It's staying kind despite hurt, holding faith despite doubt, and choosing to continue when no one cheers. That victory comes only when you see pain as part of the journey, not its end. Lesson 4. Action matters more than inspiration. A common but dangerous misconception many carry through life is that they need inspiration to act. They wait to feel ready in the right mood or for the perfect vibe before starting. But if you've lived long enough, you know inspiration is fickle, coming and going like the wind. Relying on it limits you to sporadic, impulsive efforts. Learning to act without inspiration builds resilience, consistency, and real results. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor and profound Stoic philosopher, reminded himself each morning, "I wasn't born to sleep, but to do the work of a human." This may sound austere, but it reflects someone guided by principle, not emotion. He knew inspiration was a luxury, while action was essential. He didn't wait for feelings to permit him. He commanded himself to begin. Stoicism teaches that virtue comes not from noble thoughts, but from right actions. You can ponder all day about living kindly, working meaningfully, or improving yourself. But without concrete steps, you're procrastinating. Inspiration may spark a moment's motivation, but only action creates lasting change. Remarkably, action often summons inspiration back. You don't need to feel inspired to write. Just write a few lines. You don't need to feel energized to exercise. Just put on workout clothes and start with 5 minutes. You don't need a perfect mood to work. Just clear your desk, open your laptop, and take the first step. Inspiration often follows action, not precedes it. Like pedaling a bike, the first push is heavy, but once the wheels roll, momentum builds. Many confuse inspiration with motivation. Inspiration is the positive feeling before starting. True motivation is what you generate through doing. As you progress, complete tasks, and overcome laziness, your brain releases dopamine, the foundation of lasting drive. Truly successful people aren't always inspired. They're disciplined when inspiration is absent. Stoics don't advocate burning yourself out, but they teach that if something is worth doing, do it even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or lacks applause. Acting despite a lack of inspiration is the highest expression of rational living. It proves you've matured, understanding that life doesn't wait for your mood to align. Think back to significant moments, exams, learning skills, projects, caring for loved ones. How many were done in a burst of enthusiasm? How many began when you felt bored, tired, or confused, yet pushed through? After finishing, how did you feel? Pride, peace, and fulfillment often come not from inspired breakthroughs, but from completing what you didn't feel like doing. That's the power of action over emotion. A practical tip is to break actions into steps so small you can't make excuses. Don't aim to write 1,000 words today. Start with 5 sentences. Don't plan to exercise for an hour. Put on workout gear and warm up for 5 minutes. When the first step is easy, procrastination fades. Once you start, your brain follows the new momentum, sparking excitement and producing genuine dopamine, not the kind from scrolling or quick videos. The world glorifies emotions, urging you to follow your heart. Stoics say, let reason lead. Emotions may signal, but they don't guide. Your actions should stem from what's right, not what feels good. Repeating right actions daily builds a resilience no fleeting emotion can shake. It's not easy, but it's simple. Realizing you don't need inspiration to start brings freedom. freedom from mood dependency, from needing to feel good, from waiting for the right moment. The right moment is now. By starting, you're already ahead of 99% of those waiting for inspiration to knock. Lesson 5. Discipline is freedom. The word discipline often triggers discomfort. It evokes images of restriction, constraint, hardship, and lost freedom. Meanwhile, freedom is typically seen as following emotions, doing what you want, acting when you feel like it, and resting when you don't. But this is one of the most dangerous misconceptions of our time. Without discipline, true freedom is impossible. This is a simple yet profound paradox that Stoics deeply understood. Real freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want, but from the ability to control yourself so nothing controls you. Without discipline, you're easily swayed by emotions. You overeat when stressed, procrastinate on tough tasks, scroll your phone for hours, then complain about lacking time. You might call this freedom, but you're enslaved to instincts, cheap dopamine, and circumstances. A disciplined person, however, rejects short-term ease to stay on a long-term path. They wake early for priorities, work without inspiration, and train even when no one demands it. In that choice, they find freedom. Discipline isn't external coercion, but an internal decision. If you don't set limits for yourself, life will impose them. Uncontrolled spending leads to debt's grip. Unchecked emotions let anger ruin relationships. Unrestrained behavior traps you in addiction, disorientation, and self-doubt. Discipline isn't just for success, it's to keep chaos at bay. Marcus Aurelius didn't write about spontaneity or chasing emotions. He reminded himself daily of duty, role, honesty, and service. He lived discipline not because he was an emperor, but to stay clear-headed amid power, fame, and temptation. He knew discipline doesn't stifle your inner self. It sharpens it, making you stronger and more reliable. A clear sign you're on the right path is doing what needs doing without supervision, praise, or pressure. Discipline is living by your values without external motivation. The more you do this, the freer you feel, free from guilt, procrastination, or the nagging sense of inadequacy. Each disciplined day builds self-trust, the strongest foundation for inner freedom, far surpassing others' approval. Biologically, each act of discipline, saying no to temptation or finishing a tough task on time, creates a positive feedback loop in your brain. Dopamine is released not from fleeting gratification, but from proving you can master yourself. Repeated disciplined actions build a chain of self-belief. I do what I say. I keep promises to myself. This fosters self-respect, a feeling so powerful you no longer crave external validation. Examine a typical day. What time do you wake? What's the first thing you do? How much time goes to social media, news, or distractions? How much is proactive versus reactive? If you lean toward passivity, you likely lack discipline. The good news? Discipline isn't innate. It's a skill you can train. Start small. Wake up on time, tidy your workspace, finish one task before switching, avoid your phone during meals, write today's goals and complete them. Don't wait for inspiration. Don't expect reminders. Don't claim you can't be disciplined. No one is born disciplined. Disciplined people choose right actions daily until it becomes second nature. Stoicism teaches that true freedom isn't getting whatever you want instantly, it's being unswayed by anything. In a world overflowing with choices, freedom comes not from choosing more, but from refusing wisely. Discipline is that power, the ability to self-govern, chart your course, and build a life worth living. Lesson 6. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to progress one of the biggest barriers stopping people from starting, daring to act, or continuing is an obsession with perfection. They think they shouldn't begin unless they're already great. shouldn't try unless they can do it flawlessly, or shouldn't bother if they can't match others' success. This perfectionism paralyzes them, leaving them stuck, watching time pass with feelings of disappointment, self-blame, and helplessness. But Stoicism never demands perfection. Instead, it emphasizes that the path of a rational person isn't about being flawless. It's about progressing step by step. Epictetus said, "No one becomes great overnight. A truly mature person understands that each day is a chance to improve a little. Aiming to change everything at once feels overwhelming and leads to giving up. But striving to be just 1% better each day feels manageable, keeping discouragement at bay." That sense of, "I can do this," is what carries you far. Imagine someone starting a fitness journey. If they demand to run 10 kilometers on day one, sculpt a perfect body in a month, or match an athlete in weeks, they'll likely crash when reality falls short. But if they aim to run 1 kilometer today, 1.5 kilometers next week, then 2 kilometers, they'll see progress and stay motivated. Your mind doesn't need grand achievements to feel joy. It needs the sense that you're moving forward. That's why Stoics don't expect instant enlightenment. They know humans learn, adjust, and grow. It's not about being steadfast yet, but whether you're aiming for it. Every time you stay calm instead of snapping, even for 5 seconds. Every time you resist a bad habit, even once. Every time you persist in a small right action, you're progressing. These tiny steps compound into major transformation. The problem is, today's society is obsessed with instant success. You see someone with a great physique, stellar skills, or a dream life, and assume they achieved it after a course, a single resolve, or a miracle. But no one posts their days of doubt, ineffective workouts, or urges to quit. You see the polished result, not the messy process. Comparing others' end product to your starting point makes you feel inadequate. Instead of chasing perfection, chase consistency. Pick one small daily action to edge closer to the person you want to be. Don't try to read 10 books a month. Read 5 pages a day. Don't overhaul your lifestyle in a week. Change one small habit and stick with it. Shifting from, "I must be great now," to, "I just need to keep going," lifts the burden. Paradoxically, letting go of perfectionism fuels faster progress. Stoicism judges you not by your words, but by your repeated actions. It doesn't care how much philosophy you know, but how much you apply. Even when you fail, Stoics don't condemn you. A single failure doesn't define you. What matters is how you rise. One bad day doesn't doom your life. You can correct, restart, and continue, as long as you don't quit forever. Psychologically, focusing on progress over perfection sustains motivation and prevents burnout. Aiming to be better than yesterday frees you from comparison and the need to prove yourself. You return to your own journey. The more you do this, the more happiness flows from within, not external validation. A helpful habit is noting one daily improvement, however small. You slept 10 minutes earlier, didn't react to a jab, or finished work on time. Don't dismiss these small wins. They're the foundation of big ones. Greatness isn't a single extraordinary act, but consistently doing the right thing over time. You don't need to become someone else to feel worthy. Just become a slightly better you, bit by bit, day by day, choice by choice. If you do this, even if the world hasn't noticed, you'll gain what matters most: self-respect, persistence, and a life no longer ruled by not good enough. Lesson 7. Happiness lies not in results, but in a rational life. In modern life, happiness is often tied to outcomes. People believe achieving something, a better job, more money, a perfect relationship, or an admired image, will bring joy, fulfillment, and security. Yet we've all experienced this. You set a goal, work hard, achieve it, and the joy comes quickly, then fades just as fast. You're left empty, chasing the next target. If happiness depends on results, it's a shadow, always ahead, never truly grasped. Stoics saw this centuries ago. For them, happiness isn't about what you achieve, but how you live along the way. They don't say live to hit goals, but live rationally, virtuously, regardless of outcomes. Results are swayed by countless factors beyond your control. The process, however, is yours, your choices, actions, and the character you uphold in each step. That's what you can master, and that's what creates true happiness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The outcome isn't mine." My response is, this simple phrase, when internalized, can transform your life. Shifting focus from what must I achieve to how will I live today to align with my values dissolves pressure. You stop chasing comparisons, proving yourself, or feeling guilty for lacking big results. You know you're living rightly, and that's enough. Society trains us to believe results are everything. From childhood, you're praised for high grades, recognized for winning, or liked for outshining others. Rarely are you taught that honest effort matters. Seldom are you encouraged for being kind, keeping promises, or staying composed in tough times. So you grow up thinking you're only worthy with results. Over time, this breeds stress, inadequacy, and mental exhaustion. But you can break free by redefining happiness. Happiness isn't having it all. It's not needing it all to feel happy. It's an inner state where you know you're doing right, living by principles you believe in, and holding to your values despite circumstances. Someone poor or unremarkable can be deeply happy if they live ethically, rationally, and authentically, avoiding lies or fleeting pleasures. Conversely, someone with external success who betrays their values or lives for appearances will remain restless. Happiness can't stand on a false foundation. Stoics teach that humans exist not to rack up achievements, but to refine character. They don't care about your job, home, or follower count. They ask, are you kind, fair, calm in failure, honest when no one's watching? These are the questions worth asking daily. Your answers to them are the true measure of happiness, unshowy, independent, unshakable. If you go to bed saying, today I lived rightly, acted rationally, didn't let emotions rule, and stayed true to my conscience, you've won even without success. This peace needs no external validation. It's an inner calm that money, fame, or victories can't buy. The only thing that stays with you lifelong. Of course, results matter. Goals and achievements have value, but tying happiness to outcomes breeds anxiety. Every unmet result feels like failure. Anchoring happiness to living rightly makes you fearless. No outcome can strip away your dignity, reason, or inner strength. Starting today, shift your perspective. Instead of asking, what did I achieve? Ask, how did I live? Instead of, do others recognize me? Ask, can I look in the mirror with confidence? Measure life by what you control. You'll soon realize happiness was never at the finish line. It's in each rational, sincere step you take, free from fleeing yourself. Lesson 8. Life is short. Live with meaning. One of the most obvious yet often forgotten truths is that we don't live forever. Life is finite. Time is limited. Each of us is counting down to the day we no longer exist. Yet we often live as if we have endless days, delaying what matters, hesitating on necessary conversations, avoiding meaningful changes, and sinking into trivialities. For Stoics, death isn't terrifying or pessimistic. It's a wake-up call, a tool to live more deeply, fiercely, and responsibly in every moment. Memento mori, remember you will die, is a core Stoic principle. Marcus Aurelius reflected on this daily, not to dwell in fear, but to live fully present. When you truly grasp that your time is finite, You stop wasting it on nonsense. You cease anger over petty slights, complaining about the unchangeable, or impressing those who don't care. Instead, you ask, am I living meaningfully? Living with meaning doesn't require grand deeds or lasting legacy. Sometimes it's simply being truly present in your life, treating loved ones kindly, living by principles when no one watches, leaving others with warmth, reliability, or a touch that lightens the world. These acts may not trend online or make history, but they create ripples of value. If you live such a life, however brief but authentic, you haven't lived in vain. We're often caught in the trap of thinking life is only worth living with more money, connections, or achievements. But facing death, these fade into irrelevance. You won't take a penny, title, or fame with you. What remains is how you lived. How did you use your precious time? Did you love sincerely, forgive in time, pursue what mattered despite difficulty? Are you living as if today is the only day you're sure of? Epictetus urged his students to wake each morning thinking, today might be my last. This sounds grim, but is a powerful antidote to complacency. If today were your final day, you wouldn't lie. You wouldn't pretend. You wouldn't let fear or insecurity hold you back. You'd dare to love, apologize, say no, or start. Living as if each day is your last chance to do right lets you live fully. Some live 80 years without truly living, chasing fame, wrestling expectations, doing what others want, saying what others like. Only when time runs out do they realize they never lived for themselves. Others, even in a few decades, leave a profound presence, a clear moral mark, an indelible impact. They saw life as a gift, not a duty, and refused to squander it. Ask yourself, if I had 1 year left, would I keep this job, stay in toxic relationships, delay what I know matters? If no, you're living out of alignment. Adjust now. Don't wait until time runs dry. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just live a bit clearer, truer, and more meaningfully each day. Living with meaning is living rationally, acting not on fleeting emotions, but on values you hold. You don't speak to please, but to say what's needed. You don't choose safety over rightness. This life leaves no regrets, not because you were always right, but because you strove to be real with others and yourself. Don't wait for a loved one's loss to realize you didn't say, I love you enough. Don't wait for illness to see you've lived rushed and drained. Don't wait until time's gone to ponder what truly matters. Life is always short. No one gets enough. But it can be deep, bright, and full if you pause, reflect, and live consciously. From today, live as if writing the final pages of your life's journal. Each action is a sentence. Each word is a punctuation mark. Each choice is a step toward meaning. Living this way, you'll fear death less. When the last day comes, you'll know you live truly. No missed chances, no deceit, no hiding. That's the greatest victory a human can achieve. You've just journeyed through 8 lessons, not dry philosophy, but practical, vital guidance to become a stronger, clearer, and more resilient version of yourself each day. You've learned that victory isn't surpassing others, but mastering yourself. You've seen that life doesn't demand perfection, only progress. You've been reminded that happiness isn't at the finish line, but in the righteous steps you take daily. Above all, you've been shown that time is finite, and living meaningfully is a choice you can't delay. But understanding isn't enough. Knowing without acting makes these lessons fade like countless videos you've watched. So pick one action, just one, to start today. Maybe wake up earlier, journal rationally, stop complaining, forgive someone, or turn off your phone for an hour to truly connect with a loved one. Or simply remind yourself each morning, I'll live as if today is my last. If this video stirred something in you, leave a comment. Share the lesson that woke you up. And if you're ready to continue forging rationality, mastering emotions, and living with meaning, subscribe to the channel. Your journey is just beginning. You'll triumph, not by luck, but because you chose to live rightly, starting now.